What's up, listeners? My name is Damien Lil D Morgan, author of Hip Hop Had a Dream. Right, I've got a very special guest with me today. She's taking her time out from her busy schedule to talk to me. She goes by the name of Sophia Stewart, aka Mother of the Matrix. Now, there's too many words to describe this special lady, but a creative genius is one. The author of The Third Eye and her latest book, Matrix 4. Hello.
Yeah, hi. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready too.
Good. Basically, I just want to start off, before we go into your writing, let's start off with your childhood. Where did it all begin with you? Where did you grow up?
I'm a New Yorker. I'm from New York City. Grew up in New York. So I would have to say it all began in New York City.
Right. Home of hip hop, yeah?
Home of hip hop. I'm from the Boogie Down, which is called the Bronx, New York.
Great stuff. So, when did you start writing? When did you learn that you had such great writing ability?
I started actually writing when I was in the 7th grade. One of my teachers got ill, Mrs. Day, and so a college professor substituted for her, and he said he didn't know much about English, but he taught writing over at the college. And so that's what he said he was going to teach us, how to write. So that began my writing career. And I was so gifted and so phenomenal when I did get into college, which I was mentored under many very famous and wealthy and phenomenal writers. They told me, especially Max Siegel, a former journalist with the New York Times, before the whole classroom, that there was not anything he could teach me, that I was already a professional writer with my own style.
Right.
Which was great. Yes.
Great stuff. So, what was your goals early on in your writing process? I mean, what was your goals in terms of wanting to write such good material?
Well, I always wanted to write something that no one else had ever written before, totally original. And I wanted to put special effects and graphics on the screen that no one had ever created or seen.
Right.
And I accomplished that with both the Matrix and Terminator movies, because my book, The Third Eye, and my continuation, the second book, Matrix 4, which is the 4th installment of The Matrix, is incredible graphics and special effects, and cutting-edge special effects that the world have just enjoyed and getting ready to enjoy even more, because my Matrix 4 book has been selling globally around the world since 2012 in ebook and hard.
Right. So, could you go into more detail first about your book, The Third Eye, and how it relates to the Book of Revelations? Because I've heard some other interviews where you kind of go into detail about that.
Well, what I wrote was the second coming of Christ,
Right.
the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. In other words, Revelation spoke about Christ coming back upon the earth, his energy.
Right.
Christ's energy would come back, or a New Age prophecy, because that's what Revelation was, the future, predicting or prophesizing that Jesus would come back. So the Terminator is the prequels to the Matrix, and Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. And Neo is just an anagram or word backwards for the One. And Christ was always called the One, N-E-O-O-N-E, one and the same.
Right.
And John Connor's JC, Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo in the Matrix. And the Matrix is, of course, the future. And the Bible is broken up into time travel, or in a greatest technology, a computer. And God's is speaking in numbers sacred ancient geometry, and quantum physics. So when we look at the past, we're talking about the Old Testament. And when we're looking at our presence right here, right now, we're speaking on the New Testament and Jesus. And when we look at the future, what one will become, we're delving off into revelations. But no one has ever looked at the Bible being scientific and the Bible being like a computer program with numerous programs running through it. Again, like I said, the greatest technology ever created, quantum physics, ancient sacred geometry, encryptions, codes, just like the Da Vinci codes. The Da Vinci was probably one of the phenomenal seers to crack the codes and encryptions of revelations, and I feel that I have done that also with the Matrix and the Terminator. Have cracking the codes and the encryptions. And that's what man did with the genoma. While he was able to create the bodies, but he couldn't give the souls. So when you look at the Matrix, the word matrix is Latin for womb. And it's mentioned 5 times in the King James's Bible. When you go into Exodus 34th chapter 19th verse, God says, "He who opens up the matrix, the children born from the star portal of the womb, or the ones that receive a soul from him, and they're his children. Otherwise, man will become like God upon the earth in the future," which is now. And he'd be able to create his own children, mankind, or a kind of man, but they would be born soulless. The clones, the test tube babies, the petri dish, the artificial insemination, man would have the knowledge of God, and he would start creating the most horrific things upon the earth.
Right. With regards to the third book, the third eye again, can you explain, go into more detail about the Wachowski brothers and how they got hold of the third eye? Can you kind of elaborate on that and what we know as the Matrix now? How did that come about? How did listeners?
It was very easy. I was at USC Film School. I have a degree in journalism and double major in law and psychology. While at USC Film School, I was shopping my work to 20th Century Fox, looking for the director, George Lucas, to direct my work. My work in franchises are the opposite of Lucas's work in franchises. Lucas created Star Wars, and so Star Wars was the wars in heaven. And Lucas' point of view in science fiction form was how Satan, Darth Vader, fell from the light side to the dark
side. Yeah.
The dark side. And mine is just the opposite. Mine is about the Christ energy and how it comes back upon the earth, and how he's faced to fight the nanotechnology or the machines that man creates upon the earth, and what happens during that journey. And so, of course, it was brilliant the way Lucas directed. And to my understanding, I believe he went to USC Film School, the same school that I attended. So I shot my work over 20th Century Fox. They got hold of it. Vice President Susan Mensback, and of course she went over to Paramount, and there was Gail Ann Hurd and David Madden and Valerie Red, and they took it over to Roger Corman and picked up James Cameron, and then the Wachowskis got it with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers was involved with the Terminator. And then the Wachowskis were just used as a front. They didn't write anything, didn't create anything, never was any directors, never directed anything. They claimed they were comic book writers, but I doubt that very seriously. Said they were together as carpenters for 30 years. That's probably true. Mm-hmm. But anyway, they have no inkling idea how to write or know anything about the Matrix or the Terminator. Couldn't write themselves out of a paper bag, sorry to say, just fraud. Fraud on the government and fraud on the people. Never had a copyright. Never owned the Matrix or Terminator. Never owned the Matrix, the Wachowskis, period. The Terminator defendants later admitted to Judge Morrow, who was on my second judge on my first case in 2003/4 California case, admitted that they stole the Terminator from me 18 odd years ago. And then the Matrix defendants admitted to Judge Amara that they had gagged me and settled with me and paid me. And she said that had gotten aborted and therefore it had no gag protection.
Right.
And the Wachowski brothers and Warner Brothers never even answered, the amended complaint because they had no copyrights. In fact, I have their paperwork where they made a contract between the two of them for the Matrix, the stolen theft of the copyrights. That's all it was. There was no infringement. There was no plagiarism. There was no copying. It simply was theft of the copyrights. They simply stole my copyrighted material, which are my copyright, the Third Eye book, and adapted it into a derivative, which you see as the Matrix and Terminator movie franchises. And it was later on adapted into a video game and merchandising and so many, many things, anywhere from $35 to $100 billion worth.
Right.
Incredible theft.
Incredible.
And they didn't steal from me, they stole from God. Because the message of the Matrix and Terminator is God's spiritual message to shift the consciousness of the whole globe. And there are 3 billion people whose consciousness have been shifted and love the Matrix and Terminators and have the movies and merchandising around the world. Whole countries are affected by the spiritual message of God. And Matrix 4 will be on the screen to continue this spiritual message that will bring progress and change and shift the consciousness of the rest of the world.
Right. Well, I've obviously bought the book and it's a fantastic read. And I can't wait to see on the big screen. I mean, can you go more into detail without obviously giving it away before people buy the book? But as a whole, what would you say the Matrix 4 is about?
Matrix 4 continues the saga behind Matrix 1, the 4th installment of the Matrix. 2 and 3, I made into a bad dream that Neo and Trinity was having and sharing because they're twin souls or twin flames. And so therefore they love each other and they wake up talking about their dreams and the saga continues. And this time, Neo is prepared and must be able to crack the codes of the new machines and the new nanotechnology that he's really going to go up against. He has to be reborn and go back into the Matrix to fight these machines incredibly. And the prophecy continues with the Oracle, but this work is even greater than 1. It eclipses 1. It has greater nanotechnology that's coming up the future, 30 to 40 years of the future, the virtual penal system, the UFOs that will be developed and flown here that will take on technology that's greater than any flying machines ever. You already know because you read some of it, so why don't you tell the audience?
Well, it's very, 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 it's an amazing story, I should say. I mean, there's some interesting characters in there too, like the character Savvy with the angel in there. There's also, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but I've obviously read the book and I'm wanting to obviously promote it for people to understand how deep, you know, you're going with this. But I think it's an amazing read. I don't want to give too much away, Sophia, but there is some interesting new characters in there, and you know, it seems like, you know, I think it is going to be better than 1. I have to say that, I really do. I mean, it's kind of deep. I mean, I want you to kind of talk more. You know, is there going to be, what kind of characters would you be using in there now in terms of actors? Do you want us to use the same actors, or are you going to change them?
What do you mean the same access?
No,
And then
same
the second-
actors. Same actors.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, of course the Matrix would not be Matrix without the same actors who made it come alive. Even though they're getting older, I have remedied that because Matrix 5 will be the young Oracle, the young Neo, the young Morpheus, the young Trinity, and so forth. So yes, of course you'd want the same actors in it, but the work is so great that anybody can do it and will still be phenomenal.
So what about the Indigo? The Indigos that's in the book. Who do you feel could play them?
Well, the Indigos was first introduced to you guys in the first Matrix, where the little boy's bending the spoon. These are the Indigos, which are from, birth on up to 20 or 21. And then from 21 on to 30 are the crystals, young adults. And these are the children that are exhibiting unusual gifts when they're looking for the Christ child or the Neo child or the One. Or the John Connors, the baby, or, growing into adulthood, because he doesn't battle the machines until he reaches 30 years of age. When Neo becomes 30 years of age, the revolt or the revolution or the rebellion starts.
Right.
So in the meanwhile, these crystals and indigo kids, well, many of them are being slayed or killed because they're looking for the One. And this was never explained in the first Matrix. So all of this is going to be explained in Matrix 4. And then they get to have their own franchises and they can spin off to a television franchise or a movie franchise. Or maybe a television series or a movie franchise.
Right. I mean, kind of talking more with regards to the lawsuit that you're taking up. I know, but I've been asked the same question, so I thought I'd have to ask you. Is there a reason why you never came out with a lawsuit against James Cameron first for the
I don't know where you get that from. That was my first lawsuit, and that's what I just got through saying. That the Judge Morrow in my first lawsuit, all of the defendants, James Cameron, the Wachowskis, Warner Brothers, Fox, all of them were in the first lawsuit.
All right.
And that lawsuit was shut down on a summary judgment because my former attorneys, 4 of them, was working for Warner Brothers. And they were told to sabotage the case to prevent it from going to trial. And the only way that Judge Morrow had a hand in it also, because she told them how to fix the case with the summary judgment by not putting in any depositions for me or any evidence, movies, copyrights. Then she could shut the case down on the summary judgment. But if you put in the movies, the evidence, well, they're the witness. So therefore you can't shut it down on the summary judgment. But there was no legal basis for a summary judgment because, for one thing, the FBI was holding the evidence of the theft and not myself. So therefore you couldn't shut that case down. And secondly, one of my attorneys, the lead attorney where everybody came under his contract, was a fraud. The whole contract was a fraud, and I didn't get proper representation because Jonathan LaBelle, who I got the default judgment against, $1 billion judgment, was he had been disbarred since 1993, and he didn't have a license to practice law anywhere. In fact, he lied on the justice, which is the judge, and stole money from the clients, one of his clients. And this is why he was disbarred.
Right.
So I did have proper representation on the first court case.
Right. So where are we with this court case now?
I just went on a second court case. I have a second court case. I just got through explaining where it was at, but I think you don't understand law, but it's okay.
No, not as good as you, I've got to admit. And obviously I'm from over here, so the law in America and the way you explain is quite different from over here.
It's totally different, and I understand that. And that's why I'm explaining to the audience that I had a second court case over in Utah, and I won a $1 billion judgment. In fact, I just asked for $3 billion in damages. And Warner Brothers and the Wachowskis and Cameron and everybody is liable for that money.
Right. Okay, because we don't really see information like that on the internet, you know, for when people want to kind of research that. So that's what can make certain people think, you know, is it true or is it not? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Is what true or not?
With regards to what you're saying, in you winning that $1 billion lawsuit, it's kind of like when there's certain people that would want to look for that information, but they can't see it. I mean,
of course they can. On my website, matrixterminator.com, go on there and buy the book. The judgment was entered on there so everybody can see it. So all the fans around the globe are looking at it. And it is true that I won, and a lot of people tried to shut that down or hush it up on the internet, but you can't squash the truth.
mm-hmm.
It keeps coming back over and over till it will break the lie up into thousands of pieces where the lie will never rise up again. How about that one?
Amazing. I mean, I even heard in your other interviews about Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know, the word "I'll be back."
The Third Eye book, "I'll be back, we'll be back," comes from me. It's a direct quote out of my book. The Terminator comes back as 3 different cyborgs, and every time he says it, he owes me money. Or anytime anybody uses it, will owe me money. That's why.
Amazing. I mean, how long did it take you to complete Matrix 4? How long did it take you overall to complete?
Probably less than 6 months.
And what companies has actually spoke to you with regards to them wanting to make this film? Can you kind of give us examples of any companies and, you know, any offers to you?
There's always been lots of offers. One of them was Universal Studios with the late Rick Finkelstein, COO of Universal Studios. I had a meeting with him. Of course, I had a meeting with Relativity Media with Ryan Kavanaugh. He's the CEO of Relativity Media. And they, at the end of the conversation, said not to sell it yet because they were very interested. And then, of course, the Chinese, people from Dubai, just numerous of people and investors, hedge funds, and lots of people. But most of the people don't even have the money to get such a vehicle as Matrix 4. Dubai people, Chinese, Russians, yes. Koreans, yes.
Right.
Some of the studios here in America.
Well, I can't wait to see this, Sophia. I really can't. I mean, it's just amazing that your story ain't told, or hasn't been told as enough as it should be, or at least through the main.
My story has been in mainstream media since October 17, 2003, when ABC broke my story and it went nationwide. It later on went global because the media kept picking it up. So I've been in front page newspapers, magazines, and some of the mainstream magazines such as Source, Vibe, Expos, Black BET, Black Film Magazine, Wall Street Journal, CNN News, just countless of media. I cannot go on. It's just Hot 97, MTV, WBLS. It's just on and on and on. I've been interviewing nonstop since 2002, and I've never needed a publicist to pay anybody $5,000 a month to get me an interview. When people are coming to me and steadily coming to me And I just got picked up a new interview today, before I even got onto this interview. So this has been going on, will never stop. And I will be on the cover of Forbes magazine, The $1 Billion Woman, that wrote The Matrix and Terminator.
Right. I mean, that billionaire woman that I know out there, well, which should be you too, but is Oprah Winfrey, and it's just amazing to know that, you know, you deserve what you should be getting, Sophia, and I do commend you for all the work that you put in, and, you know, never give up on, you know, the truth, and, you know, it needs to come out, it really does, and I commend you for it.
Well, your BBC has done 2 stories on me, so it should be out all over in London, because London is a big buyer of both The Matrix and The Third Eye book. In Canada and Australia and Germany and Peru, even Dubai, Africa, Mexico. So I think, you know, like I told you, I got 223 million fans follow me around the world globally. So, and I'm in the top 10 known name, if not face. So I think a lot of people know about it. Lots of people know the truth.
Brilliant. I mean, is there any advice you would give to any inspiring writers out there with regards to, you know, not being able to go through the same issues that you've gone through? I mean, what should they do to protect themselves?
I tell them to get the copyrights and then stand up for their property. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It was just a little bit of a noise that came up.
Wow, I didn't even hear any noise.
You didn't hear that?
No, I did not. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's just like a loud noise started coming up, and that's why I had to kind of just wait until it went down. I don't know, but where I was, you was just giving advice before it kind of went loud.
Everyone should always get their copyrights, and they should stand up and protect their work, just like I did. Get a victory, just like myself.
Right.
And please study law. If you're in school, get some law in. Get some legal background. I would put in the hands of all male children or children a law book and the Bible. They cannot go wrong with reading those 2 books.
Brilliant. Miss Sophia Stewart, mother of The Matrix. I love your work. If that's okay, I'd love to still keep in contact with you, just to see how you are. You know, just keeping up with the lawsuit, and, you know, just looking forward to The Matrix 4, the film coming out. I mean, I can't wait. It's a fantastic read for the viewer. I mean, for the listeners, I do encourage you to go onto the website matrixterminator.com and get the book. Seriously, it's a fantastic read, and you'll be amazed. Miss Sophia Stewart, do you have anything else to say to the listeners?
Yes, I'd like to tell people that they, like what you just said, they can go on Amazon.com and get the ebook or the Third Eye and the hardcover of both books, The Third Eye and Matrix 4. Or you can go on my website, go on my website and get it a lot cheaper. The ebooks are there, or the hard books from me, hard copies, from me. It's really your choice. My website or Amazon.com, and email me and let me know what your preference is. If you want an ebook, or you want a hard copy, or just order the ebooks right immediately. Thank you for having me on your show. I've enjoyed it very much.
No, thank you. And as I said before, I'd love to stay in contact with you, if that's okay with yourself. And
oh yes, fine. That's perfect.
Thank you, Sophia, and you have a blessed day.
Okay, thank you.
One love.